Welcome back, everybody, to the Cathedral Velvet Podcast. Of course, I am your host, P5R Jusho, and I am not here, and I totally forgot yep, sorry. Yeah, you guys aren't watching, there, yeah, you guys saw that, but, yeah, welcome back to the Cathedral Velvet Podcast. Of course, I am your host, P5R Jusho. Another 2 weeks has passed, so it means another podcast is here. Hooray! So yeah, got another podcast. This is podcast episode 3, right? Yeah, episode 3 already. We're in May right now. May just started, so yeah, May's going all right so far. But yeah, today we got 3 articles, 3 news for the past week. Of course, this is from Persona Central. We'll be getting to that soon. And the big thing that we're gonna be doing today, as the whole kind of topic for the episode, it's gonna be Persona 5 Royal Confidant tier list. Yeah, so gonna be doing that after we cover a bit of the news today. So yeah, please stay tuned for that, guys. We'll hear my controversial opinions about the social links. So yeah, so let's get right into it. So let's just switch on over to there's their profile. Yeah, so again, we're on Persona Central. Please check out their stuff, and links to the articles will be in the description below. So again, please check out Persona Central, support them, follow them on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, whatever platform they're on, because they post the good stuff. All right. So first article, it's gonna be a short one, but pretty big milestone. So what we got here: Persona 5 Royal Remaster reaches 1.7 million copies sold. Series sells 3.2 million copies since 2022. So Persona 5 itself, 3.2 million. Like, wow, that is not bad at all. Not gonna lie. Alright, so scrolling down a bit, Sega Gaming has released the company's fiscal year ending March 2023, consisting April 2022 to March 2023 financial results today. As with previous earnings reports, Sega has an outline for a specific game series which notably performed during the year, including Persona. According to the financial results, the Persona series sold approximately 1.23 million units worldwide, including digitals and physical sales, in January, February, and March of 2023. Oh, okay. 1.23 million. That's not bad for 3 months. Yeah, this marks the total of 3.27 million copies of sold of the Persona series in the fiscal year between ending in March 2023. 270,000 copies were sold between April and June 2022, 230,000 sold between July and September, and 1.54 million sold between October and December. Yeah, that's a release of Royal for the systems. So yeah. Persona series has sold 1.9 million copies more than the previous year, when it had achieved 1.3 million copies sold from the beginning of April 2021 to the end of March 2022. The main contributors to the sales is the fourth quarter of the fiscal year ended in March 2023, where the remasters of Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden. These new releases were launched on Xbox One, Series XS, Persona 4, PlayStation 4, Switch, PC, and Steam for P3P in January. And with the remasters, in November, it was confirmed that the remastered version had sold 1 million copies worldwide. Okay, that's good. In the report, the updated sales for Persona 5 Royal has confirmed as 1.7 million as of March 2023. And in November, Alice confirmed that Persona series has sold approximately 16.8 million units worldwide. As a result of November 2022, the Persona 5 series, including P5, Royal, Strikers, and Dancing, has sold 8.3 million units worldwide. Dang! 8. Well, 16. No, 8.3 for across 1, 2, 3, 4 titles. Some, well, one having a second re-release, and it really shows that having multiple releases, well, not releases, but multiple system releases is pretty good for sales. So, of course, Persona 5, the OG, wasn't released on any other systems besides PS3 and PS4. Royal being initially released on PS4 and then re-released later for PS5, Switch, all yada yada. Strikers, believe that is still only Switch, PS4, and PC. And Persona 5 Dancing, that's only PS4 and Vita. Don't forget the Vita. Keep the Vita alive. So yeah, I wonder if if Alice will eventually re-release Strikers on a Xbox as well as Dancing in on Switch, PS5, Xbox, PC, because not gonna lie, Dancing was not really my favorite version, or at least the favorite out of the Persona 5 stuff. It's probably my least favorite, and ranking out of P4, P3, P5 Dancing, yeah, P3 and P5 are probably lower than P4. But yeah, 8.3 million, that's since 2016 altogether. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Of course, people were saying, "Oh man, other games sold faster than that," and I'm just like, okay then, good for them. But hey, Persona series selling 16.8. Hopefully, with Persona 6, if that's ever gonna be released, announced soon, and maybe even with that Persona 3 remake, if that's even true as well, hopefully, we'll have just a single game out of the series that sells as much as 16 million units. But I kind of doubt that. It's not like Last of Us or God of War or Spider-Man numbers, but I do personally wish it'll get that kind of high numbers. It will really show oh hey, JRPGs like this, that's not just realistic, can just can do numbers like this, because Final Fantasy 7 remake, I mean that kind of relies on, oh yeah, people really want Final Fantasy 7 remake for decades. Well, not really decades, but at least a decade ever since that's a PS3 test demo. So I do want to see more sales for the games in the future. So, but overall, this is pretty good for Persona, and I totally just ignored this image here. So unit sales of major IPs, so the Sonic series, I'm guessing it's millions. So we got Like Dragon series, including Judgment, 700, 1800, 2500, 2900. from fiscal years 2022, 2023. And then we got 470, 960, 1730, ending with 2830. So I'm guessing like I don't really understand this. So if guys can just inform me in the comment section below, just if you can inform like how it goes. But maybe this will help. So from April to June 2022, I'm guessing boom. Yeah, so I'm guessing it is in thousands. So from here to here, it's a 230,000 jump, and then from here that's more than that's 1.5 million jump to this number. Okay, I think I see it now. So from here to here, it's a jump of 300. From here to here, another 300. Here, another 300. Yeah. All right. So yeah, really hope whoever the next game for Persona, I hope it sells more than 8 million itself. So yeah. So next thing up, we got Persona 5 The Phantom X closed beta data revealed. Some more information about the Phantom X. So the first closed beta for P5X took place in March 28 to 31st, and the producer addresses some players' feedback from the beta text, and some player data has been confirmed through a blog post. So of course, Joker is the most popular. I mean, he is the main character, so of course he would be the most popular. After 3 days of P5X's first infiltration test, players used up a total of 8,707,955 tokens in exchange. The character with the highest number of exchange was, unsurprisingly, the leader of the original group of the Phantom Thieves, Joker, with a total of 1,897 players chose to exchange. Yeah, of course. He has that swagger. In combat, players defeated a total of 461,264 shadows. Among them, the battles ended with the new highlight Fatal Blow attack, a number of 12,310 times. Traversing mementos, players collected a total of 32,109,170 mileage cards. For the new evil boss, Yuji Kyuchi, players were able to deservedly change his heart 924 times. Is that the number of players who actually were able to beat him, or I'm guessing that is the number, but I wonder like how many people were actually able to play the actual beta test, because that kind of seems kind of low. Like if that's just like, let's say 10,000 people like got into the closed beta. I'm not sure if that's an actual amount, but it might be for closed beta. Within the baseball stadium palace, players were able to open 98,439 treasure chests while exploring. All right. So got some images of. All right. Looked a bit better when it was a little bit smaller, but yeah, pretty nice, pretty nice. Then leisure and part-time work. In addition to exploring the other world, players can also explore various activities after school. Players participate in part-time jobs 8,164 times throughout the beta test's 3 days. There's also other activities players can engage in. And a total of 810 players chose to go fishing, while 127 players challenged baseball practice. Okay, so it's a little bit, I'm guessing a little bit under, I would say less than 5,000 players. Between 3,000 and 5,000 players got into the beta. Because, people can probably do the part-time jobs and do the activities multiple times while playing, and it probably doesn't take up too much time, I guess. But yeah, that's it for the first beta player data. So okay, not bad, knowing what players did what during this little 3 days time of the beta. But I wonder, what's second, third place for the polls for the characters. Was it Makoto? Was it Futaba? Was it Ryuji? Like who else was available during this beta test that you can get? And I haven't really seen like much footage of this game myself. Like I haven't like gone out and looked for it, because I kind of do want to be a little a little unknown about the game, unless it's through like official means like trailers and whatnot, and like blog posts about the game. So yeah, I know doing this means like, oh, you're gonna learn more about the game, but I'm still a bit blind. I have no idea what's going on. I haven't seen any of the gameplay, so there's that. So the last article we're gonna be talking about today before we head into the tier list. Let me just refresh the page because it's out of whack. There we go. Okay, so the Persona series director discusses the appeal of turn-based gameplays process behind main character creation. All right. So scrolling down a bit, the Famicom Gamer recently conducted an interview between Hoyoverse producer behind Honkai Star Rail from last week, David Jang, and Persona series director Katsura Hashino. Focusing on the Persona relevant parts, Hashino, who is currently the director behind Project Refantasy, which we haven't heard anything about in 6 years or so, talks about various development behind Persona 5. He discusses how he thinks turn-based RPGs can advance compared to action-based ones, the process behind creating characters, stories, as well as the positive and dangerous of implementing AI technologies in development. Yeah, I believe this was the very first episode. We kind of talked about, there was an article about how Atlas/Sega might be, are thinking about implementing AI to help them, develop some stuff with their games. And basically my take on, this whole AI thing, which I said in the first episode, please check it out if you can. If you're planning on using AI to create stuff, use your own stuff as the base of it. Don't use, that AI and fill up with other, other people's creation and whatnot. Use your own ideas, your own, artwork as the base of it. And I think you're fine, I guess. Because it's not copying off of anyone else's. You're using your own stuff as for your own creation. So that is basically where I kind of draw the line with AI. And again, I'm not an artist or anything like that, so I can't give, my full thoughts about it. So that's pretty much what I gotta say about that. So continuing on. Sense of immersion in turn-based combat. David discussed his team's inspiration of taken from Persona 5 for Honkai Star Rail. One of these points concerns P5's senses of immersion. Hashino shares his thoughts regarding Japanese RPG battle systems and a sense of immersion. I'm very honored that Persona 5 was used as a point of reference from the planning stage of Honkai Star Rail, but I think that turn-based battle systems are an element that breaks the continuous flow of a game rather than give it an immersive feeling. After David explains their reasoning for making Honkai Star Rail a turn-based RPG, Hashino asks why they decided to go that route. Hashino elaborates on his thoughts for turn-based battle systems for RPGs in the future. Uh, I'm thinking about like what Hashino said, because I was thinking, oh, that's what David said about uh about turn-based RPGs, but no, it's Hashino. So, and I haven't seen anything of Star Rail except for like I was on Reddit and on the Trash Taste podcast Reddit subreddit. They were saying, "Oh hey, uh, Joey, Garrett, and Connor are in Star Rail." I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." But after that, I haven't really seen anything about this game at all. I was really tempted to like sign up for like the or pre-register for the game on PlayStation. Then it was like, nah, I'm not even through like uh Genshin and wanting to play Honkai Star Rail. No, that is too much of a big investment for me. So that is where I kind of draw the line there. But continuing on what Hashino says. In the history of RPGs until now, there have been many examples of games that have used turn-based battles that were eventually replaced by active action scenes to give the player an improved sense of immersion. However, I personally believe that turn-based battles will not hit the mic will not become an archaic system if they can be implemented in the way that fits as a part of a cutscene's composition. Yeah, yeah, a whole bunch of, well, I can't really say a whole bunch, but one series that really comes to mind was like, oh, turn-based systems turning into active action scenes is Final Fantasy. That is for sure one of the things that Hoshino was most likely talking about. Because Final Fantasy obviously started as a turn-based RPG, and then it's been slowly turning into just an action RPG. Especially when they introduced the active time battles in Final Fantasy 7, and then I believe, well, the one that really comes to mind, 13 is a little bit iffy, but still an ATB system. But then Final Fantasy 15, that was basically a near action, full on action RPG game. Then with Final Fantasy 7 remake, there's that as well. And then apparently Final Fantasy 60 is the official Coco action, full-fledged action game. So, uh, hmm. Yeah, I can see where Hashino's coming from. 'Cause I do like I do like both action RPGs and turn-based RPGs. They're both great. Uh, which one do I like better? I would kind of say turn-based, because hey, with turn-based you can set the controller down, can walk away, then come back, and hey, nothing happened. You can continue on. Whereas with action RPGs, oh, you can put it down and oh wait, enemy just came by and just killed you. So yeah. So to continue on, show the scenes that needs to be, don't show the scenes that don't need to be. In short, if we can think of the cut and paste method used in anime and manga scenes as a method that can be brought into game battles, I believe that turn-based battles in RPGs will continue to evolve in the future. That is why when we created Persona 5, we didn't hesitate to adopt a turn-based battle system. Yeah. That being said, we're aware that the turn-based system halts the tempo of battles as a whole, so we were conscious of the gameplay in Persona 5 in order to not spoil that sense of immersion as much as possible. For example, players can immediately attack or summon a Persona with a single button press. We spent a good amount of time thinking about that. Yeah, that was like a major change, from Persona 4 to Persona 5, where it's just like there's technically no real menu when going through this, But like, except when choosing your persona or the skills and the items as well. But like, the whole thing is just like a single button press or multiple when you're talking about the guns. Just boom, 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 boom to fire the gun. One button hits for just a regular action, and then 2 or 3 presses of the button for skills and item and whatnot. Yeah, that very much changed from Persona 4 to Persona 5, and I would say that would be a good a good change of pace. I'm trying to think about the battle systems in Persona 5, and if you were able to choose the enemy before or after you hit the attack button, which I'm trying to think it's before. Like, well, like, no, you select the attack button and then you choose the enemy. That's how it goes. Yeah, it goes like that. But if one thing I do like about like having that little menu there is just that if you accidentally press a button, like it won't go into that action immediately. But I do really like the improvement of the new system in Persona 5. I think that is pretty good. So going to turn-based versus action-based battle systems. Hashino continues by discussing the importance of meaningful cuts in turn-based battle systems for the purpose of dramatic emphasis. I don't remember exactly how he went about creating this system, but I think it was convincing in the end. An example is if the player would think before a battle started, it would be more fun for this combat situation to use an action instead of turn-based battle system or turn-based system. The battle would just be a throwaway battle with bad pacing. Persona 5's case, the player have to take advantage from enemies that appear on the map, reveal the enemy's identities, and face the enemy in a battle with the party. What kind of enemy will we be facing now, and how will we fight them? The setup to fight the fight needs to be convincing. For example, in an action movie, when a powerful enemy or a rival appears, the cut and flow of time changes, doesn't it? This creates a moment where you have to face the opponent with caution. By incorporating these cuts and moments with the flow of time changes into an RPG, we try to make the visuals convincing in terms of a turn-based battle. Then we add the dialogue between characters during battle and the story before and after the battle starts. And when the battle is over and tension is released, the player returns to the map where he or she can move freely. Yeah, like I do like, the whole visuals of Persona 5, like it is very stylish. If you haven't seen Persona 5, check out my Let's Play on my channel, Power G Show. It's linked at the end and in the description. But it is very stylish, and there's a whole lot of things that move, like with with menus, and everything just pops. So yeah, it is very good with the visuals, and the dialogue is pretty good. Like I do like how when you're like battling against an enemy and with a certain weakness, if you have it on Persona, they'll say, hey, that might work. Or if you don't know the enemy's weakness, like that could work, or not sure that'll work, but hey, go ahead. That I do like that, little conversation pieces within the battles. So yeah, like it does, it is very fun, like hearing that little tidbit going on in battle. And when when tension is released after the battle, it's like, yeah, the battle's over, we continue on with game. Yeah, I feel what Hoshino is saying. So, it says, we are conscious of when it comes to creating a sense of tension throughout the game, not only during combat, but also before and after the battle, and building a story and context through turn-based battles. Oshino follows his thoughts on RPG combat systems, with the use of sports metaphor. Sometimes I like to convince myself by thinking of the difference between turn-based RPGs and action RPGs as the difference between soccer and baseball in sports. While soccer is always continuous, you wouldn't say that baseball is less immersive, right? While baseball itself has a solid separation between offense and defensive teams, the rules are set in place like changing the game after 3 outs. Yeah. Naturally, there are interruptions between plays in baseball compared to soccer, but if you have firm grasp of the rules and turn changes, you can feel the fun of what kind of strategy is being played for both offensive and defensive turns. Of course, soccer has its own unique charms, while baseball has a different one. When I think about the differences between action RPGs and turn-based RPGs, totally forgot the G there, I often use this difference in the fun between soccer and baseball as an example. And now we're going to the design of the characters, and this is a pretty long article. Like, not gonna lie, if you're now watching this, like, I am just about at the halfway point. Like, holy cow! So, we're going to designing main characters. Yep, there we go. Hoyoverse discusses the design process for creating the main characters of the Persona games, as well as the supporting cast. In the case of Persona 3, 4, 5, we started with the main characters when it comes to creating the characters in the story. After that, we established what kind of problems does the main character have and where they should end up. However, the protagonist cannot reach the final destination with their own strength alone. True, it's always about our friendship or some kind of form of that, right? So, Persona 3, of course, we got the main character who looks kind of emo, self by himself. Death is inevitable, whatnot. Persona 4, trying to find out the truth. He really looks kind of mysterious. Gray like hair is gray like a fog. And we got Persona 5, rebellious guy, or so we think. You know, from first look, if you're like, if he transfers in, like, oh yeah, he got in trouble with the law and whatnot. So, continuing on, so we ask ourselves, what kind of characters should stand with the protagonist and support them? We base that answer following 3 steps. The first step is actually position the boys and the girls who will stand by the main character, and from there, the number of characters increases until the party is filled with about 7 or 8 people. So frankly speaking, the character replacement is like a promise. One of the things that I'm clearly conscious of when creating the characters is to have the players identify with the main character. We need the players to emphasize with the conflicts and concerns with the main character faces. Yeah, I feel like that's more. Okay, so I'm thinking about like with Persona 3, 4, and 5. Personally, I feel more towards, with P5's main character. Like the whole thought about, you're an outcast because, you got hit by the law, which wasn't your fault. So basically, you got in trouble but with someone that wasn't your fault, or you're wrongly accused, and now this is your punishment. That's where I kind of got with that. But with Persona 3 and 4, 4 is just, oh hey, you're new to town. That's basically about it. So yeah, and then P3, family member dies, you've been on your own, so now you're here. So yeah, it's kind of a bit difficult to like kind of relate with 3 and 4 compared to 5. But as we continue on with the games, I feel like you can connect with 4 more than 3 just based on the dialogue and whatnot, and the choice that you can make as the character. With 3, it's just funny just to choose the dialogue. It's not really like relatable, but it's funny. So continuing on, and because the allies are characters to support their protagonists, they may also have their own conflicts and problems they are that they are wary to tell others. We have created episodes with a human touch so the players feel that these friends are truly human, just like the protagonist. Yeah, that's basically with the whole social links and whatnot. But I do, like I said this many times, I do want this their character development to be part of the story. Don't leave it just for the confidant. Have it be tied to the story so that progress is constantly continuing on and not just stuck at a run until you do the whole social link. Now the premise and conflicts tackle in Persona stories. Hashino addresses the conceptualization of the story in the games he's worked on. In Persona series cases, the premise is about boys and girls becoming adults. So it's important to provide a reason preventing these characters to come of age. There needs to be a wall that the characters needs to hit before they can progress through adulthood. Persona 5, the main character has a criminal record from the beginning of the game. His classmate gossips about him. We made it a story about a boy who breaks through this wall. I aim to create a story where the players will be able to sympathize with these young characters facing that wall to adulthood. When asked about where he comes up with the problems that the main character in the Persona series will have to face, Hashino responds with the following. I think a lot has to do with the current zeitgeist. That era had a certain cynical mood, with that kind of feeling that felt cynicism towards putting in an effort in a difficult situation, or like there's no point in trying your best. However, the games we make are meant to be entertainment, so I can't help but to respond to that mood with this resignation existing in that time period. There are other ways to do this. Even if the situation the protagonist is facing seems impossible to deal with, it's still a game, so he or she can gain wisdom from other people, or find like-minded friends with the same perspective. No matter how difficult the situation may seem, I don't want to deny the possibility that there can be a way out of it. Uh, Through the protagonist's problem and stories, I have a desire to create something, to counter to the I have a desire to create something counter to the social issues of the time and complaints prominent figures have in the cynical mood. To follow that up, Hoshino describes in more detail the issues of each modern Persona games were meant to tackle. Okay, so death, covering the truth. You are slave one, emancipation. P3, 4, and 5 all dealt with different issues. However, their final conclusion is generally the same. I know it may sound a little rough, but simply put, Persona 3 is saying if there's something you can only do now, do with everything you can. Persona 4 is the story where if you just get your information from what everyone thinks, you'll be deceived if you aren't careful. Persona 5, I want to depict a story about defying the rules and labels forced upon you from above. Alright, so yeah, I'm not gonna lie, like when we in the last episode with Eric, we had a little moment just like, oh yeah, what if, Persona 6 is about, uh your with the green theme being all about, oh hey, it's about health after, the whole COVID thing, and it's just, oh, you're a protagonist and you only have a year left to live, so gotta make the best of it. Something along the lines of that. But it was fun, the last episode. But yeah, check that out if you haven't. I want Persona 5 to be an want to be a game that pushes young people when they are unable to move forward freely, when they are unable to decide how they should live their lives as they grow from children to adults and become independent, when they are unsure of the career path, etc. The Persona series has been created in the hopes that they would be games that will push the audience towards at such times. So although Persona 3, 4, and 5 raise different issues and in different ways, they all tell stories in the same vein, and as a result, in my opinion, there's not much difference. Yeah, just like, hey, just go for it, just go for it, follow your dreams and whatnot. The values presented in Persona games. Hoshino discussed the values he has chosen to present in the games he's involved with. Speaking with the character's values in the case of Persona 5, the storyline is what the adults are saying is wrong, so we want to exert our own justice. Fundamentally, we've decided to always include turns in the story that raises the question: can the justice we believe to be right be called justice in the first place? That being said, there will always be times in one's life when one cannot live without believing something is right for oneself. If you're always alone and always doubting your own justice and place in the world, you will one day fall. I don't know if the justice I believe in now can really be called justice, but I still gather friends who say, that's right, and while pushing me forward, I finally arrive at a single conclusion: that style of game I've been making. That's the kind of experience I want players to have. But I don't want the players to be completely convinced when it comes to were the action taking of the protagonist really right. I think a characteristic of a coming of age games is that you can never be completely sure about that question. Yeah, that basically comes like near the end of like Persona 5, where it's just like, yeah, I've told you my story. I could rat you out to the police, and that could be my right because hey, now I'm free, and yeah, I think I did the right thing. Or the other ending where it's a good one, just like, oh, yeah, we're gonna fight, the god above, who's just like, yeah, you can't tell us what to do. What we're doing is right, and what you're doing is wrong. Something along the lines of that. And and especially with the royal, where just like, oh yes, your dreams will finally be realized. You will all be right. You'll all be perfect. Even though just like, yeah, we're not really gonna have this perfect life. There can be wrongs with the rights with the wrong. So yeah. Afterwards, when asked about the correlation between games and literature along with the games of the era, Hoshino responds with the following: it doesn't matter whether it's while you're playing the game or after you finished it, but I want the player to feel invigorated by playing it. This may sound a bit hyperbolic, but I believe that games need to motivate people to do something or make them aware of something in the real world. By conveying this, if the game's setting is completely different from our own worlds in terms of culture and values, or if the setting is completely different from modern day, players may simply end up thinking that the game is irrelevant to them. It may be fun to experience an alternate world is different from reality, but there's nothing left afterwards. I mean, like, I guess it's sort of true, but like, people really just want, to play games, to be escape from the world that is what we live in now. So just being reminded, like, oh yes, the real world. Yeah, the real world is so great, right? Like, I truly love, oh man, all this horrible stuff that's happening now. And I'm seeing it in the video game. Oh, yeah, totally love it, But I do kind of see what Hoshino is, kind of talking about. No matter what kind of setting or story we create, we want to make sure that in the end, something will stick with the player. Because of this, we try to create a stage that is as realistic as possible. And when we create characters, we try to create people who are familiar to the player, or she can relate to. Okay, so let's think about the characters in Persona 5. Now, the first person that came to mind is Yusuke, when I'm just thinking like, do I really know someone who's like Yusuke? I mean, I do know like people who are artists, but I don't really know people who like, or artists who just like, oh yes, my art has been I've been taught by this teacher, and that teacher is using my art for his gain, and I'm not getting anything of it, or my teacher killed my parents, something like that. That I don't really get it, but I do understand, the struggle of Yusuke, where it's just like, I don't have much money on me, so I can't really do much. So there's that part. And then with Futaba, I feel like that is a little bit more relatable, but more on the Japanese side. Needs people just, who haven't really gone out much. I mean, I guess that's more relatable to me too, but like that's more lines of post-college kind of, just like, yeah, I'm kind of barely going out, but just like I do that out of my own choice. Like, I'm just like, oh yeah, I'll go out, and if I need to get something, stuff like that. But I have stuff right here. But like, if I do want, like, oh hey, guys, want to hang out? Something like, try and make that happen. Ryuji. Yeah, I don't really know much of, of abuse teacher, but I do know, like, I have seen, some history of like basically teacher taking advantage of students, which goes along with, on Shio, that whole story bit. So yeah, that is something I've heard of a bunch of times. And continuing on with that last statement, that's why we tried to make the game as linked to reality as possible. I mean, they say it like that, but there's still like a whole bunch of things that makes it like it's not really connected at all, So I guess it's like kind of a double-edged sword. I guess we're making this as as linked to reality as possible, but there's still so much stuff that does make it realistic, And here we get to the AI technology and RPG development. When asked about the impact of AI on RPG development, Hoshino said the following: no matter what you're making, it's become quite realistic to input it into AI first and then adjust the output manually. In the future, amount of data that will be needed to be created by humans may decrease considerably. From an efficient standpoint, it's a very exciting future. However, as creators, we must not forget what we could lose through the development of that kind of convenience. For example, when we create socially and confidant systems, starting with Persona 3, where the relationships between characters develops and is reflected, we did not expect the system to be enjoyed by users to this extent. The proliferation of the social media and internet has made it more efficient, has especially more convenient for the people to interact with each other. However, at the same time, I feel that opportunities to get in touch with people physically and speak directly face to face and open up to them have gradually decreased. Yeah, basically people can say as much as they want on the internet, but when it comes to face, they won't say much. I have a feeling that there's something like a longing for human connection that exists in modern society, which boosts the appeal of characters that can be met directly in the game. Therefore, while it is important to utilize the development convenience and AI technology, we cannot forget the kindness and of happiness entertainment should bring us to people who live in reality. Okay, with this last statement, coming in contact with people and overcoming difficulties together with the important friends is a very precious and wonderful experience in the real world. The fundamental factor when it comes to the realism of a game that focuses on characters to make them feel as if they're living with you, and that they have friends by their side facing the same things they are. Even when only few patterns of conversation can be produced due to developmental resources, if we can prepare a huge number of conversation patterns utilized by AI, I think the immersion in character-centric games will be further enhanced. Yeah. Oh, man, that's a major article, and yeah, Hashino does make some good points, and I was kind of hoping we get to hear the other side of from Hokai's development guy, David, right? It was David Jing. Yeah, I was kind of hoping we were hearing more on his part of the game. I guess like he would talk about more Honkai, but hearing more how Persona 5 influenced Honkai, and what they learned from that. I really like to hear more about that. But I'm guessing if there's a Honkai slash Genshin news site, they would probably talk about this. But yeah, um, this is really interesting from Hashino. Really interesting, and his thoughts about whole all about turn based, art turn based versus action AI. Pretty cool, having characters making it sort of realistic to real life, and make sure don't forget that connection. Yeah, it's he says some good stuff here, and hopefully soon we'll see if that Persona 3 remake is real, maybe Persona 6, and obviously that Project Re Fancy. We want that Project Re Fancy. But that is all for the articles. Of course, if you guys want to check out the original articles yourself, guys want take that go in depth, all that, links will be down in the description below. This portion of the podcast is sponsored by you, the patrons on patreon.com/cavepodcast. With as low as $3 a month, you can support me and the podcast with benefits such as exclusive posts, early access to the podcast, no in-video ads, your name scrolling in the video, and much more. So please consider supporting your boy over at patreon.com/cavepodcast. And now back to the show. So now we are gonna go into the main thing for this episode. We're gonna be doing the Persona 5 of Royal Confidant. So let me just make this a little bit smaller for you guys to see. And then move this over. Alright, so of course, if you guys haven't played Persona 5 Royal, where have you been? Why are you here? But down bottom we have all of our confidants. Okay, so we got Ryuji, Maruki, Tai, Oya, Yusuke, Haru, Sumire, Igor, Chiaya, Y, Futaba, Sojiro, Sai, Kechi, An, Morgana, Mishima, Makoto, the twins, Star, Sun, Kid, and Kami. How I named 90% of them. Let me just bring up the Confidants, P5 Confidants is I Hifumi, right? Yeah, Hifumi, uh Tor uh no oh man. Sucks that like that I forget like just the last few oh yeah, Shinya and yeah, Tornosuke. Yeah, Tornosuke. Okay, so let's start off with the non-story party members. Basically, the characters who are not really point to the story or like have, or they're basically NPCs. Okay, so let's start off with Tay or Tai, whichever you guys prefer. So Tai, or she's the goth nurse doctor, and her whole spiel is, hey, you do experimental, tests for her. She gives you a discount on medical items. And then there's, part of the story where she left a hospital because of a certain or a death there, and then she moved down to the lower area where our pro tag is, and just wants to, well, try to be on the down low. But unfortunately, she kind of gets found out, but she does help people. But yeah. So her overall confidant, I would say it's pretty good, and the end result of it is that you get cheaper and more items. So overall, I would say that just for the overall use of her confidant is really good, and also she's hot. Next, oh yeah. Okay, her confidant is all about trying to find, well, she was, a reporter, and her whole thing is that, trying to find something that, it kind of caused like a rift with a relationship with another person, and she really shouldn't be going to things that she should be. But also her whole confidant power is that she lowers the rating in whenever you get caught, or if you get caught in the palace. Not gonna lie, I didn't really care for Oya. Now, she does have an importance within the story, and I believe you couldn't really advance with her until afterwards. I believe it's with Yusuke's arc that she appears in. So without her help, we wouldn't, go along with Yusuke. But over like her usefulness as a confidant is not really there. Like, her confidant power is really useless unless you're really bad at the game. Unless you constantly get caught, you're not using the game mechanics as it should be, and you're just running everywhere and getting caught. That's the only reason like that is there. And I feel like It's my list. I'm putting enough. Okay, next up is Chihaya. So Chihaya is fortune teller. All right. She's used to boost up Confidant, like basically similar to the shrine in Persona 3, in Persona 3 and 4, so to help boost your relationship with other confidants. And also I believe this was a new thing in Persona 5 Royal, but uh having a chance to have more money in in palaces and in mementos, more XP. So she does have her uses there. But as for her story, of course, when you first find her out, it's just like, oh, her fortune telling isn't really that true. She's just scamming you. That's like kind of her big thing, and you're just kind of like you're basically trying to like give her like some push her to the edge, like, yeah, do more accurate readings, I guess. uh like, I do like her usefulness as just with her confidant abilities. So just i I would say putting her ability, I would say as a B. Just like her confidant abilities is really useful, especially like if you just want, like if you're really trying to like get through the confidants and all that. She's really useful. Kind of thought that the story for it was, it could have been better, but putting in B. Next up, we have EY, who is, well, I guess a former Yakuza member who has an adopted son, and he doesn't really want his son to find out that, he's still involved with the Yakuza and whatnot, and he's really protective of him. And, his goal is just like giving discounts for guns, bring in more weapons, all that stuff. So he is very useful, and I did enjoy his confidant story. So I think, I'm thinking probably. I'll put in this. I'll put in this. Like, he is a very useful confidant, very useful, because you're always going to him for for guns and weapons and all that stuff. And I do really like the whole father son story aspect. I thought it was pretty good. Okay, next up, well, let's go to this bottom row with Shinya. So Shinya is he so you guys can see, he gets you makes you better with your gun skills, I believe. So there's that. So, but his overall story is that, he's a gamer at at the arcade, trying to be the best gamer there, trying to stop people from cheating. That's also a thing. So basically, just like his, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. Is that I believe, wait, wasn't it that she's like, oh, if you don't tell my mom I'm here playing games, I'll help you become a better shooter, I believe. I think that was it. Uh, just I just have like just pull up the wiki just in case of I'm just getting some stuff wrong. Yeah. So he gives additional like abilities with your gunshots and whatnot. So he gives good skills, especially with the warning shots, because it makes it a bit easier to get personas. So yeah, and also he has like his whole deal with his mom going on there. So uh, hmm. I'm I'm thinking I'll put him above Chihaya, because I do think like having that down the ability, and having that warning shot for the personas is really good. But the story for like I know it's a little bit more relatable because he's gamers stick together, but eh, there are better gamer stories. Okay, so who should we choose next? Okay, Tornosuke. So he's the politician. He's trying to get the fate of the people back towards him after an unfortunate siding with politics going on, because of course politics is bad. It wasn't his fault really for the most part, but like he does gives you the ability to improve your conversational skills with the demons, so that is really good, makes it a bit easier to get them. That is really good, because that's really what this game's about, bring back the demon conversations, so get them to part of your team. I would say that I would say he's a good guy. At the end, he's a lovable guy. Also voiced by voice of Gohan. That's also him. So I'll put him at A. I do like his story. His story is pretty good. I do find it fun. Just like, oh yeah, I'm holding up, a sign like, hey, vote for him, man. The couple times the Albert's just like, hey, don't let it do that to him, or just like, hey, you got this, I support you, and he gets he gets back to it. So yeah, I do like his his whole thing. All right. Next up, I think probably we should go with the one that was almost a party member, Hifumi. Okay, so Hifumi is basically the strategist, and she was almost part of the team. She unfortunately didn't make the cut, so yeah. So she gives us mid battle character swapping, so that is very good. That is absolutely amazing. She also gives us better chances of leading battles and better gun skills, I believe. So there's that is very good, having ability to swap out characters in between battles. So it's just like, oh wait, this character isn't so good against this character because he got a weakness. Switch out for another party member, boom, good to go. But for a story, she is basically like, she's like a very popular student who is on covers of magazines. She is a very avid Go player, but the thing is, her mom is just too much. Just make her do these things that she doesn't really want to do, and she wants us to stop her mother just trying like, hey, just let me do my thing and we're good to go. So uh yeah, yeah, I think probably like her story, it's all right. I didn't really much care for, like, it sucks that, having a parent that just like saying like no to like things you really want to do. Just, um, let's go with, I'm gonna put her in, and also gotta think about her ability that she gives, swapping out party members. I'll put her in front of Shinya. Yeah. Oh, I'm not sure if I've said this for the audio lists. The list goes from S, A, B, C, D, F. So, yeah. So far we have in S we have Tai and EY. A we got Torinosuke. B we got Hifumi, Shinya, Chihaya, and down in F we have oh yeah. So, in case for my audio listeners, that's the current list so far. Okay, next up we got Mishima. Mishima gives, our missions and whatnot. He found out that he was basically one of the earliest ones to find out where the Phantom Thieves. So there's that. He hangs out, around us, for a lot of it. He does have that moment where just like, hey, I made this whole, fan site for the Phantom Thieves. I should be, as popular as them, when he's just really just in the background, just like shouldn't really be, that focus on being in the spotlight. Like, as much as he's, helping out the team with the fan site, he really shouldn't be, getting angry that he's not getting, as much love as they are. But think about his what he grants to us. So he does give us the quest for for us to do in mementos. That's his thing through the fan site. So yeah, and then he also gives us exp for party members for party members who are not active in battle. So anyone outside of the main four in battle. So yeah, that is good. So I think I'm gonna put Mishima, not gonna lie, in C tier. Like he does, redeem himself after just, it's part of his, socially, just like bring his, his shadow back to his conscious to his normal self. He didn't even have to defeat it, but made him bring back to himself to his senses. So yeah, and just like overall, Mishima is just like he's just that character, not that big character, but just like he's not small either. And I'm just all right. Next up, oh, best girl, Kawakami. So course, Kawakami, she is the maid of honor and also the teacher of our protagonist. Her whole deal is that, you know, she moonlights as a maid, so she can make some extra money, so she can pay back, you know, the parents of a student that was in an accident. And now just the parents just like really are going overboard with, you know, the payments and whatnot, and just threatening to like tell other people or like the school board that she's doing this maid thing. And of course, like, the accident wasn't caused by Kawakami, it was caused by like another person, because like I believe the student, like, she inspired the student to like to do what he wanted to do, but you know, but the other parents just like, yeah, no, do what we tell you, and that kind of led to the downfall of the student. Her confidant is a major one. Like, let's after her massage, she lets us go out at night, and if we have her, as we say on, she does our laundry. She cooks food for us, and she also builds, you know, items for us. You know, so we don't have to waste that time. So she is incredibly useful. Her story is, you know, I do like it, and she is hot, and mates, so I will there we go, in us. All right, so the next non-party main character, let's go with Sojiro. Daddy Sojiro. So of course he's the protector, guardian of, you know, our protagonist. He's also the, well, pseudo father to Futaba, owner of LeBlanc. He is, you know, he's that guy who's just like he's kind of like grandpa, just like, you know, I got game. You know what you're talking about, but you know, he is cold until you get to know him, basically. But like his story with, you know, with the Futaba, Wakaba, Futaba's mother, and you know, and Sojo is, you know, I do like that. He is at heart, he is a good guy. His thing, his socialing skills, oh man, is not that good. He only like gives you, like, you know, just basically better abilities to make SP items. So so it's like, you know, coffee, curry. It's not really much. He is a good character though. He is a good character. He does care for you. I will put him. I'll put him above Chihaya, but below Shinya, because just like the amount of usefulness he has. But like, he is a good character. He is a good character. Okay. Who should we go with next? Let's go with Sai. So, Sai, older sister of Makoto. Her thing is mainly it's all automatic. That's her thing. just that we're just exploring our story, the chain of events that happens to us up to that point of the game where it's just, hey, here's what happens up until now. So so it's not much, but like she doesn't really add to her confidant, doesn't really add to it. It's all automatic. She's not a party member. But it's basically like her confidant is just basically a guide as to like how far have you gone through the game, basically. As like just 1 to 10, oh, you reached 10, hey, you reached basically near the end of the game. There you go. But we don't know her much as a character through the confidant, but through just playing the game itself. Through the game itself, and through Makoto. So as much as I like, Sai is kind of hot, not gonna lie. Her usefulness as a confidant, she does lead us, like, as basically like she does help us out in the end. But just talking about the confidant itself, she doesn't do anything. She's just a guide or just a representation of how far have you gone through the game. So I'm gonna put her at D. Yeah, yes. Oh, how can you put Sai in D? How dare you? Just like, her confidant doesn't add anything, so just boom. Okay, next up we got the twins. So the twins, they're the development tenant for this game, eventually turned to Lavenza. So the progress through, getting the social link is obviously like with 3 and 4, make personas with certain conditions, show it to them. They learn a bit more about the truth of themselves and where they basically came from, why they were split, how they were split, and oh, where did this no come from? I didn't write it. Did you write it, Carolyn? No, I didn't write it. How did you not know that you wrote it, Justine? But I didn't write it. That kind of thing. So they do provide good stuff with the social links. With the whole, they basically, hey, you get to fuse more stuff, and it gives you access to discounts to the compendiums and whatnot, and lets you have more fusing abilities and whatnot. So their abilities is good, and it's basically a must to do this. So you have, save more money, get better personas and all that. So I think probably, I'm thinking about it, I just realized that I just made a giant F with the tier list. I would say they are very useful. They are very useful in the end. So I think I'm gonna put them at A, because despite them being just horrible attendance in terms of attitude, they are better at the end. they fuse into Lavenza, so there's that. But also, their useful is very much tied to the story, and you can't. You can get through the game without them, but it is very much better if you use their social links. So I put them at 8. Okay. Next we got let's go with Igor. Igor, or is this, really Igor, or the fake Igor. And the first time, Igor being a social link in the series. So he's also automatic. He's also an automatic social link. So he does give us, abilities to negotiate with the shadows. He gives us, EXP for the fusions. Third eye, which is, the whole thing you can see, which is dangerous, which is, all right, and all that. And then increasing our persona stock. So he's good for all that stuff. But in terms of story, he's just like the majority of his confidant is that he is not actually Igor. It's a fake Igor that's been playing us this entire time, so up until the very end, where hey, the real Igor is here. So like the fake Igor, guides us up until then. So it's just like, kind of give us, little quotes of wisdom. And it is automatic, so you can't really do much like fit it into, a day. Sorry about that. So as a confidant, I'm thinking this episode of the Cathedral Velvet podcast is sponsored by Dubby. Dubby is a clean energy drink that's made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or inks like other energy drinks. There's also no filters or artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins like B3, B6, C, amino acids, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. Dubby allows you to have faster reaction times paired with laser sharp focus. They have a variety of tubs, shakers, accessories to choose from. If you want to start winning more, they made this for you. Go to the first link in the description below and use code PowerJ at checkout to save 10% on your order. That's PowerJ at checkout to save 10% on your order. Thank you for Dubby for sponsoring this episode. Now back to the show. I'm putting him in C tier. Like, I do like the twist that, oh hey, the person that you've been making a confidant this entire time wasn't actually the real him. It was a whole on fake. It was not real at all. So, and just the whole, he basically gives us the mandatory things that we need for basically the entire game, including increasing the stock. But he doesn't really have a story. He doesn't. Besides being a fake. So yeah, that's where we're gonna put him. And the last non-party member confidant is Maruki. Rest in peace, Billy Kamitz. You were a very good voice actor for Maruki. So of course P5R exclusive. So counselor, he gives us some he does for us. Oh yeah. Gives us a chance to have our status ailment completely removed immediately, and having a chance to have a charge or concentrate at the start of a battle, and a chance to restore SP at the start of a turn. So yeah, that's not bad at all. And of course, I, if you max them out, get this third semester, but I feel like that's not really supposed to be tied to that whole thing. But anyways, his confidant, basically like, hey, talk to like learning about his past. He was, college student. He had a love of his life. And he was he was he was a good guy with good intentions, but he's doing it for kind of the wrong way. Good intentions, wrong executions, basically. Like, basically, he's like, this not really going to like the whole, his confidant thing, but like, of course, like, his whole battle is just, yeah, make everything perfect. Everyone has, their things that they want. But he had his whole thing with uh, what's called the mental science, the PSI science. So he does want people to be better. He does. But like, his overall thing is just like he wants his girl back, basically. But unfortunately, things couldn't go the way he plans. So like, he is a good guy, just did it wrong. And the things he provides, as the skill, I mean, it's pretty good, not gonna lie. Like, having the charge and confidant, like, especially battles, like, oh hey, I got this charge, like, immediately at the start of battle. Oh yeah, I'll just kill you in one turn. So with that, I think I'll place him of I'll place him at a high B, low A, because his story is very much important to the overall story of Royal. So there's that, and that boost with the charge and concentrate is very good. It is very good in battle. Okay, so now we have the main party. Oh, okay, let's take care of the quote unquote worst one, being Morgana. Now, Morgana is also another automatic social link, which happens just, of course, throughout the story. So, oh man, so he does gives us the ability to make tools for the Band of Thieves. So there's that. But and also stealing items when we hit it with physical attacks. So there's that. So Morgana's whole deal is that he thinks that he's human. That's his thing. But in the end, he's not. And it is very annoying whenever it's just like, oh hey, it's time for you to go to sleep, even though we're not tired, we didn't do anything throughout the entire day. Oh man. I kind of think, like, yes, the infiltration tools is pretty much important. Like, there's some things that like it did help us, especially like the keys for opening some certain chests, uh, making some like items that'll help us recover and whatnot. So despite all, and also just like the whole simping over on, that's one of his major downfalls. But I think probably I'll put him at the end of C. I'll put him at the end of C. Despite him being just an annoying, simp on, and his arc, in the middle of Haru against Ryuji was absolutely bad, and him being just a horrible person. I'm pretty Metsi. Okay, next up, let's go with the Makoto. Okay, so Makoto. So she's really. I'm not gonna. No, she's not shut-in, but not very experienced. No, with other people, or well, not very much. It's more like kind of similar with Mitsuru, and just like, and her social is just like, oh, I have an experience going to the movies with other people. I have an experience eating out with other people, like kind of like that. Uh, so that's it's all right, and I believe there was like even an event where just like she's trying to help, other students, with their problems, like oh, certain people's grades are going down, or she's being I think there was an event where it's just a student being with like a host club member, and like he's taking advantage of her. I think that was pretty good. I thought that was a good, like series of events that happened. As for her confidant abilities, so basically like being another analysis kind of person before Futaba came in. So like seeing when enemies drop, seeing the stats, the resistances, and telling if an attack is actually effective against an enemy. So she is very useful with her confidant skills. So I think I'll put her high A. High A. Okay, next up, how about Sumire? Sumire or Kasumi, whichever. Uh, whew. So she is a requirement for obviously the third semester if you want to go down that route. She lets you. I'm surprised that she's the one that gives you the ability for the grappling hook, and she also stops from being ambushed from the front. So the second confidant abilities, not that good. I mean, eh, like you just gotta be careful. That's the whole main thing. But whole deal with she's basically in the guise of Kasumi when she's really Sumire. So yeah, and her confidant is basically locked at a point until uh after a certain point, I believe. So yeah, you have to like be at a certain rank until a certain date before you can actually advance it. Uh, hmm. So, hmm. I think and I'm also thinking like, isn't hers also kind of automatic as well up to a certain point? Or it's just like it's somewhat locked at a certain point. Hmm. I, hmm, this is kind of difficult because Sumire, like, there's like overall story for her. Like, I'm glad like she's kind of here. It sucks that despite like throughout the entire story of the game, like there's been moments where she clearly could have been part of this whole mission, but Atlas just decides, nah. She's not gonna be in here, despite her clearly being able to be part of it, just not. Oh man, I'm thinking I'll put her uh, at high C. High C. So for the people listening audio, I'll just do a little recap at the whole uh ranking. So S got Kaukami, Tai, EY. A we have Makoto, uh Torinosuke, the twins. B we have Maruki, Hifumi, Shinya, Sojiro Chaya. C we got Sumire, Mishima, Igor, Morgana. D we got Sai, and F we have Oya. Okay, so next up, let's go with bad guy Goro Kechi. I'm surprised, like no one just calls him Goro. Everyone just calls him Kechi. Similar to how no one calls Adachi Toru, and Toru Adachi. That's his full name. But yeah, Akechi is he is a wild character. Most definitely a wild character. He is a wild card, obviously, but I he has changed social links from OG to Royal. I do kind of like that. I do like make it more a little bit more like it really calls out uh he definitely calls out Tsuchoku's just like, I hate you, I don't like you, like, or well, alludes to that because with that one battle against him, like, so there's that. But like his character is interesting. It is. So his ability that was added to it is to a royal is that is able to recover or uncover enemies weaknesses before battle. So that's a pretty good thing. So basically, he's kind of like undercover, trying to find out, okay, what's your weaknesses, so I can get to it. Similar to how he was doing things as Black Mass throughout the game. But he is. I do like his Confidant. I think it is one of the better ones. And I think like probably the change to his Confidant is pretty much better than the original. But it does, and oh yeah, his Confidant was changed from automatic, I believe, in Royal, from original to manual, so you have to do it. But it does goes to automatic at a certain point after a certain rank, I believe. So like I think his overall story is great. Finding out the weakness to an enemy is also great and like really ties into his whole thing. So I think I'm gonna put him I'll put him right before Tai and right after Iwai, because he is that that good. I'm not gonna lie. At the end of Royal, I cried when you found like, oh wait, he's actually alive. Yes, yes. Like he is like that good of a character. But I'm not gonna be dumb like saying like, oh yes, he's such a bad character and that like it redeemed like all his bad stuff. Like no, like his character just like is good, but he's still a bad guy, and his actions is not forgiven after all that. But like still like his Confidant, I think it's pretty good. Okay, down to the last 5 party members. Yo, look, let's go with our boy Ryuji. Remembering his Confidant, it's a bit hard. So Ryuji, he's he does is rough around the edges. So he does give the ability to basically kill enemies if you run into them, if they're like if you're up 10 levels over them. But with no rewards on all that. But it is, well, it's no reward to yourself, but it's given to the personas. And it reduces the chance of being a detective while you're running. So that is pretty good, giving that, in-skill if you're over leveled. But yeah, that has happened multiple times during my Let's Play of that. Again, check that out if you haven't. Like, he is a good guy. But, like, my kind of issues with, with Persona 3 and 4's, best buddy guy is just that he's almost always gonna be in an agreement with you and not, conflicting against you. There's no, like, ever point where it's just like, no, I don't agree with you. I want to take control of this and whatnot. Like that's something like that would make it more realistic. Having conflict, because if you're always agreeing with someone, like then that's not really like interesting. There has to be some disagreement. I keep saying but his whole Confidant being I'm trying to remember because it's been a while, Uh, yeah. He was helping out like his other teammates, and there were certain teammates just like who like really didn't like him, just like being around because uh I believe like his action like led to like the downfall of the team. Some other teammates were leaving, but those were the ones who were the kind of good guys. So, hmm. And there was like a specific teacher who was like kind of out to get them as well, besides Kamashita. So it did kind of feel good, like, going against that teacher and just like doing things for the better of the team, uh, despite Ryuji not being part of the team. I think that's pretty good. So I'll play some Hybe. I'll play some Mad Hybe. Uh, let's go with the third best girl. In no particular order. Uh, Futaba. Futaba. Best best girl besides Kawakami, Tai. Uh, so her whole thing is like trying to make her be more social, trying to make her, get out of her shell because obviously, she's not good with being out in public. So that's her whole deal. And I do like that, like trying to help person like, be more open. And I understand that would be a bit hard, but someone has to do it. Some of her abilities is being able to add mod skills to the party, uh, showing the maps and mementos, having a hold up at start of battle, switch out knocked out party members, and nullifying the first death in a battle. So yeah, she is very useful as a confidant in terms of her confidant skills. Her overall like story. I do like that. I do like seeing just like someone trying to get out of their shell, trying to be more open. Like some like I try to be. There are some things that I'm still like I am a bit anxious, like just like talking to like just a random people, especially if there's like a bunch of them. Like if it's just like one on one, I don't really mind it. So it's like with that, story of it, story of her confidant, her overall skills as the confidant, and kind of relatability makes me want to put it. Yeah, yeah. I don't care. Top S. Top S for Futaba. Okay. Haru. Haru is the rich girl who basically comes in at the end, similar to Naoto, but she also has some appearances throughout the game, so it's just like not like, oh, we never see her, so not much care for her basically. So her whole skills is that you grow vegetables. I don't really care for that, but her social and confidant is basically she wants to start a new business as a coffee organization, I believe it was. So and it goes with goes with Sojo's a bit. So I do like that little bit of 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 connection, having Sojo with his coffee shop, with Haru's wanting to learn more about coffee, so be better for her upcoming business. So yeah, that's pretty good. But it sucks that she's like so late in the game. Like, and that's like the main issue, like with like near like late game confidants happens with Mitsuru, because hey, rich girl at the end, barely everything is basically rushed. But at least with Persona 5, at least you see her, so you know that she exists. But it sucks that she's one of the last to be unlocked. Cause cause she's basically like the last party member besides Akechi, which you already met before. So, like, I do like the whole connection with Sojiro. That's good. But I kind of find it a bit boring. I don't really care about, oh, I want to do a coffee shop kind of thing. Because that's kind of, Sojiro shtick. So I'll put her at below Sumire, because at least with the vegetable thing, that'll be something we can make items with. But the story for it's not for me. Okay, we got last two. We got Yusuke and An. Now with Yusuke, it's more lines with what was Yusuke's? Well, at least with his confidant skills, it's the skull cards that he can make for and make duplicates of. Yeah, that's good, but I don't think I really use that much at all. It's like near end game, just to have if I have a copy of like a very powerful skill, or it's just that only one, just make another copy of it. So Yusuke is whew. I'm not really sure about Yusuke. I'm glad that his it was a whole bunch of art pieces, like trying to find a whole bunch of inspirations for his art pieces and to be shown at museums. So like you're trying to find inspiration like within mementos, with battles and all that stuff. So yeah, that was his thing. So like his art pieces look very good. Just that kind of sucks that like we're just going to mementos real quick, just for that, just for the confidant. So his confidant skills is not very much useful unless you really need it, and his overall confidant story, like it's kind of interesting, kind of not. Just just finding inspiration and just improving his art. I think dang. Sorry, I'm not sorry, but I'm gonna put him above Sai at D. It's just it could have been better. At least it's not, absolute nothing, Actually, let me just make sure size, Confidant abilities just it's not just nothing. And I'm just like saying just whack things. Uh, because hey, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, but I don't want to be wrong. um, I'm not really finding anything, but oh no. Let me just do that. And now I'm really finding confidant skills. Yeah, just had to make sure. See, like, with Sai, at least, there's no skills versus, oh yes, she has skills, but it's basically useless unless if you're not good. I mean, it's useless if you're good at the game, basically. And I personally would rather have someone with no bonuses than something that's useless to me. So now, last but not least, we have the lovers of An. An's confidant revolves around basically, hey, being a model and going against her model rival, and oh man, that was a wild one. Just like her rival, just like doing crocodile tears just to get attention, blaming on for things that she didn't do. Basically similar to us. With her skills, she basically she bargains not with confidant, with the shadows, and is able to cancel out enemy attacks. That is pretty good. Yeah, so again, back to her whole story with with the model. I mean, at least she gets her comeuppance. The whole rival, because well, I believe they actually made up after that, but also Shio is a part of this, so I'm glad that we get to see Shio in this, because Shio really should have been a confidant with in P5R. They really should have. I'm really surprised, like they haven't like really said anything about that. So like having Shio as a part of this, it would have been really good. So I think I'm probably uh I'll put her right before Makoto. Okay, so oh man, this has been a long episode, but we're nearly we're basically done here. So to wrap up, this whole tier list of our confidant. So we got starting with us. We have Futaba. We have Kawakami. We have Tai. We have Akechi. Y. For A, we have Makoto. We have An. We have Torinosuke. We have the twins. B, Ryuji, Maruki, Hifumi, Shinya, Sojiro, Chihaya. And with C, we got Sumire, we have Haru, Mishima, Igor, Morgana. D, Yusuke with Sai, and F, we have Oya. Do you guys agree with me? You guys don't agree with me? If you don't agree with me, I don't care. It's opinions. It's whatever. But if you guys do have your own tier list, tell us what's yours, I know, like the last episode, we got a guy just like who made a whole like 2-page comment, just like a whole like fanfic about what he wants to see in Persona 6. I mean, hey, that's cool, but don't put that much comment into a comment, because like it's really not that serious. Like his whole like cold fanfic about like just like that's too much. That's too much, man. That's too much. But yeah, oh man, we'll be going at this for a little bit over 2 hours, so I think we should stop it here. So yeah, oh man, didn't realize 2 hours would go, this far, this much, whichever. Oh man, I think the biggest one was, well, besides the whole tier list, it's that the whole discussing about turn-based RPGs versus action RPGs, main characters, AI, that whole article, that was a big thing. And obviously a little bit about the P5R, P3P, P4G ports, and more details about P5X. So yeah, man. Oh, it's almost 2 a.m. Yeah, and I gotta edit this. So boy, but I do hope you guys are enjoying this podcast, episode 3, man. Episode 3. And thank you guys for watching this. I know last episode, I think that's probably the most viewed episode so far. I think it had over 50 views at least. If I can just go to the other channel on my phone here real quick. Let's see here. Yeah, episode 2 has over 50 views. So thank you guys for watching it. I'm very surprised people are watching this. If you guys can just subscribe, that'd be really great too, because hey, and any support for the channel is very much needed. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If guys wanna just listen to this, it is all available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. So there's that. But if you guys do want to keep track on the video podcast, please subscribe to the channel. And guys want to get these videos ad free, check out the Patreon. Links are all down in the description below. And I'll see you guys soon with the next episode of the Cathedral Valley podcast next time. Bye.